Hi. So now today I am going to start a very important topic in all the aspects, in the aspect of interviews, interview questions. Most of the interview questions, as you can see in the core Java, apart from multi-threading or apart from selections, are being asked from the string classes. Most of the logical questions are coming from the string class, right? So here I am going to discuss about the string class, as already I have written here. Now inside the string class, we'll be starting from the very basic and what is there inside the string class, that all things we'll discuss. Now one very special thing about the string class is that, like if you'll see the other programming languages, like C or C++ or some other programming languages, in that if you'll see the string is an data type. String is what now? It's an data type, that too it's an something kind of primitive data type, right? It is. But whereas when we talk about Java, so in Java, of course we can say it is a data type, but it is not a primitive data type. What kind of data type it is? It is in class type of data type. What is that now? Class type of data type. And the class data types comes under what? Class data types comes under the user defined data type. So one thing which is very clear, that the string is not a primitive kind of data type. String is a special class, number 1 point, which is available inside the lang package. If you will see in the last classes, there itself I have explained you what all classes are available inside the string lang package, and that is, so already we have discussed the object class. Apart from the object class, we have seen the garbage collections, we have seen other concepts about that. Now we are going to discuss about the string class, like what exactly is there inside the string class. Okay. Now in that, I'll just rub it out that what is there inside the string class and all. So the first is, now there are some special thing about the string class. What all that special things is there about the string class? Generally, let's say I am writing a class. What class I am writing? Suppose I am writing a class hello. Fine. So generally, which is very popular manner to create any object of a class. What is that popular manner of creating the object of a class? Is hello h1 is equal to new hello, which means here the new keyword we are using and this operator we are using to create the object of this class. Whenever term, as already we have spoken about this, we have discussed about this, what exactly new operator is. You refer your basic classes. In that new operator, so again I am repeating what exactly new operator is, that the new operator which is there is used to allocate a new memory location inside the heap memory. So new operator which is used to allocate new memory location inside the heap memory, right? It is now similarly. So this one here, many other techniques are there to create the object of a class, but in general, in common, till now, at most we have created by using this technique itself, by using the new operator, right? Here in the case of a string class, as I told that it is in special class, so string class or string class object which is there can be created in two different manner. What is that two different manner we can create the string class object? String class which is there, so the object of a string class can be created. One is with new operator. Hope it is clear. I'll come to this, how we can create the string class object with new operator. And second one we are creating, that is without new operator. Fine, it is here. So one object which we can create with new operator and the second object which we can create is without new operator. But before this, now there are basic properties of a string class. What all the basic properties are there about the string class? Like as I am telling you, what is there in that java.lang. So I need not to tell one thing is very clear, that string class specific location is available inside the java.lang package, right? So this string class is available inside which package now? Java.lang package. Clear it is? Okay, the next now, most important thing about the string class, it is a final class. So final uses we have seen in the many different ways, where all, again I am repeating that, where all we can use the final. The number one is with variables we can use the final keyword. Number two, with methods we can use this final keyword, and number three, we can use with the classes. Here you are able to see what exactly uses is there. Final class, which one now? That is the string is the, so final class string, right? So this is the string class which is final. Final initial representation or initial meaning of final, which we are discussing or which we are at least able to understand, is final means what? Final means nothing. First of all, we cannot say that if class is a final, so all the member of a class is final itself, or all the member of class is a final itself, which means that the properties inside the class string which we have defined is final itself. Never. If class is final, that indicates only a very simple thing, that the object of or the class which is a final class, the string class, cannot be extended further. That's all. Simple, very simple thing, that a class, if it is final, so that class cannot be further inherited, which we have already discussed lots many times, and today this real time applications you can say it is coming. Like if a class is final, so we cannot inherit it, that's all. No other meaning of this. It's not like many people what they are saying, or what they used to say, that if a class is final, it means it is immutable. Never like that. Immutable, what is the immutability of an object and all, I will come to that, what exactly it is. But if it is a final, so you can just say that, or many meanings are there. So the meaning of this final, I am exploring in a different concepts. What is the meaning of final? Number one, if it is final, it cannot be inherited. Whenever any class we are inheriting, any class we are trying to inherit, there could be some reasons. The number one reason is that we could inherit it, we could use the properties and operation of that class, and that properties and operation can be overridden in our own manner, so that we can change the implementation available, or implementation of the methods, variables available inside the string class, right? So if it is final, so one first particular point is that we will not be allowed to change the implementation of the things which is available inside the string class. Because why we cannot change? At first point, why we cannot change? Because in order to change it, we must have to inherit the class. Because till the time we are not able to inherit it, we will not be able to override the methods, whichever is available inside that. So number one point is we should not be able to change the implementation. Or in simple one, you can say that no, if the class is final, if the class in general it is final, so that cannot be inherited. But it parallelly, it does not mean that if the class is final, so member of class is also final. Never like that. Now here in the case of a string class, the important point is that, as I told you, it is immutable class. The string which I am writing, it is immutable class, it is, right? Exactly, it is the wrong term that it is an immutable class. The immutability of class is not there. Mutability or immutability is there of its object. So whenever we say it's a final class, it's not immutable class. But in general, in common term, we used to say that let's string class which we are writing or which we are using, it's an immutable class. But not like that. String object is immutable, or string objects are mutable, or whatever you say. So string objects are immutable. Now I'll tell you one thing. What is the meaning of mutable, or what is the meaning of immutable? First, now I am explaining you the What is the immutability? Immute. You would have heard one word called as immune. What do you mean by the immune? Means save that particular, immune it, right? Similarly, there is one term called as immutable. Immutable in the sense, I'll tell you one thing. Suppose if I am creating one string s1 is equal to new string, in that suppose I am writing here JTC. For example, I am not explaining you the object creation process of a string class, but I am taking just one simple example, and this term is very popular to you, that when I am creating it, s1 is what here now? It's an reference variable. Hope it is clear. So s1 is going to take how much memory? 8 byte of memory, in which now, see, I am not concentrating on where exactly memory will be allocated for this JTC or string literal, but just I am saying that here JTC, okay, that this JTC got some memory, or this string literal got some memory, right? I'll come to that point. What is the technicality in that? Okay. So let's say here 1024 is stored, it is pointing to this, right? Now what I am saying, that this string objects are immutable in nature, which means that if suppose s1 plus, I am performing one code here, focus on this, s1 plus, I am writing here a, b, c, let's say I am writing, and that again I am trying to store inside s1. The question is whether will we be allowed to change it, will we be able to write it or not? Question is that, can I write it? Yes, we can write it. Means what it does, if it is immutable, what I am saying it is immutable, then what it will do, it will go to the other memory location, it will write here JTC plus ABC, and let's say 2024 is the memory representation, so that 1024 will be replaced by 2024, and this will become unreferenced, which means, what do you understand from this? Means the previously what memory has been allocated for that object, if it is immutable, so in this memory location you cannot perform any kind of changes. That is what we are calling it, and because of that itself we are calling it as an immutable, which means again I am explaining that the memory allocated by that corresponding object of that class, the memory allocated by that corresponding class of that object, in that memory location we cannot perform any kind of changes. That is what we will call it as an immutable. Clear? Similarly, if suppose, if in case, if or, this is, you can call it as an immutability case. If in that, suppose when I am writing s1 of, let's say here I am writing 2024 I am writing, and in that some operation we have done like this itself, s1 plus abc. So what it is done, like already JTC was there in that, and plus inside that itself if it is changing and the total reference is not being changed, like you can write here 1. So what happens, the memory which has been allocated previously by that corresponding object, if you are performing any changes, so in that memory location itself if it is performing any kind of changes, so this we will call it as an immutable, right? So I am repeating, I am concluding immutable and immutable once again, that inside are the allocated memory or some object which has allocated the memory, if in that you are able to perform any sort of changes, right? So that is mutable we will call. If you are performing any changes and that changes is taking some another memory location, so that we will call it as an immutable. So string is what now? Immutable. So if a string is a immutable, it gives a clear meaning. What gives that clear meaning? That with any of the string objects, with any of the string literals, we cannot perform any kind of changes. Even if we are performing any sort of changes, so that will be done, but it will not be done in the existing memory location. That will always going to allocate a new memory location. Is it okay? So here again now, the best thing about the string is here, string uses the special memory location, and that special memory location for the reusability of string literals, and that special memory location we will call it as an string constant pull. If anyway, like I'll come to that point. So what is string is doing? String is, I'll just write down some points in that. Number one, first it is the final class. Second point, it is objects are immutable, right? It is clear. So we have discussed this, we have discussed this. Third point is now, what is that now? It is using a special memory location to store the string objects, that is called as the string constant pull. We'll discuss about this, what is the string constant pull. Fourth one is, the very important point about the string is the string object can, or string object can be created in two different manner. One is with new operator, and second one is the without new operator, right? So now I am going to discuss, say, this one and this one. So we'll be including both points in one point itself, and we'll come to that. Okay. Here I think it is clear to all of you. So here again inside this, when I am writing something, what is that I am writing now? Suppose first we are going to learn creating string object, string object with new operator. What all things are being done when creating the string object with new operator? Fine. Let's say for number one point I am writing. I am writing here the string s1 is equal to, say here, new of string, in that I am writing here JTC, that is Java Training Center. So in that now, what I'll do first, this is the memory location which I am taking. One thing which we need to understand, what is that we need to understand that, or we have already studied also, that whenever we are using any new keyword, so that is always going to allocate some memory inside the heap, and usually that memory will be allocated for what? Object. So if in the case of a string we are using the new keyword, and or in other form if we will say that if any object which we are creating, so always will get memory, always where? Always memory will be allocated for the any kind of object inside the heap memory, right? Here for the string, and this is a special case where for the string a special memory allocation will be done. We'll see what is the special memory location. So first, like in the heap, if we'll say, this is your, we consider it as an heap memory. For example, we are just assuming it as an heap. So for heap, there are the different memory blockages are there, like primary heap, secondary heap, string constant pool, like that 20 to 27 parts are there in that, for which where how memory is going to be allocated. I am not going into that because you will get confused with all that. So we just need to take care of two things. Number one is heap, and inside the heap there is one more special location. What is this now? This is the special memory location. This is a special memory location which is called as the SCP, which is string constant pull, right? This is special memory location. So what happens? We'll come to some points. A, that whenever we are creating the string object with new keyword, what all things will be done internally by the JVM? What all things will be done internally by the JVM? Internally, what all things is being done? Number one, it will check first. What it will check? Whether that object which you have created, this object, that corresponding literal that a string corresponding literal is available inside this string constant pull or not. This string literal JTC which is there or which you have created, it is there inside the string constant pull or not. Fine, it is. At the current situation, this string JTC is not there inside the pull, so it will create one JTC inside the pull first. What it is going to do, if JTC is not there inside the string constant pull, so it or any literal, whatever literals you are creating, if that literal is not there inside the string constant pull, so it will create that literal inside the string constant pull and it will come out of the string constant pull. It will create one more literal outside the string constant pull, right? And after creating this literal, now that the literal, or you can say the string object which has been created outside the string constant pull, means inside the heap, outside the string constant pull or inside the heap. So this JTC which is there, this one, this reference, which reference? The literal which is outside the string constant pull, that reference will be assigned inside this corresponding reference variable, this one, right? Second point now. So first point what we have seen, when this literal is not there, the JTC string literal is not in SCP, then this step happened, first one. Done. Second point now, let's assume that when I am creating another object, string of S2, again I am writing with the new of string, in that again I am writing what now? JTC, same JTC again I am creating. So when you are creating that literal, so it will check whether this JTC is there inside string constant pull or not. If already this JTC is available inside the string constant pull, so it is not going to create a new literal inside the string constant pull with the name of JTC. This is what we will call reusability of the string literals. That is the important point. Reusability of what now? String literals. So S2 is going to point. Now it will come out of that. So it is already there. JTC is already there inside the string constant pull. So it is not going to create a new literal. It will come out and it will create one more JTC and this will point to the outside. Right, it is now. But one thing is very clear, that whenever you are creating the string object, always and always a new literal will be created. That is outside the pull. So now here, next what we need to see is, I hope it is clear that how string object is being created with the help of new operator.